Let's get it. get it. Let's get it.
Hello and welcome to PUBG Mobile South Asia Pro Scrims Season 2 by Nodwin Gaming. I'm going to be your host, caster, analyst, and along with me, it is none other than Necro. And boy, oh boy, dude, we've had a wonderful start yesterday. Of course, that was day number 1, but now moving on along, mate. How are the energies for you? The weather's looking real nice outside.
Exactly. I mean, it was raining pretty. It was raining pretty hard. Not gonna lie. I mean, I did have some, a few power cuts here and there. That was a
Uh-oh.
little annoying. Not gonna lie. But I mean, hey, we're back. We're back in line, baby. And not gonna lie, the weather's actually feeling pretty good. The fresh air's going on, and I'm feeling
Exactly.
absolutely good.
That is so true, mate. You just read my mind. That freshness, right? The freshness that's
Yeah.
outside. And of course, there's a little bit of dampness outside as well because it's been raining since the past 24 hours pretty much. But eventually, when you combine those two things together, you have the perfect weather to get yourself motivated,
Yeah.
to get into some new energies. And that's where these scrims are jumping along with some positive vibe, bringing in, hopefully, from the second page of the leaderboard. What do you think, Necro?
Well, I mean, the second page is looking quite tough, not gonna lie. I mean, hey, look, first day as well. But I mean, the teams that are in the second page were kind of the same things were mostly looking like even in the previous season finals. So,
Right.
I mean,
True.
the chances of them coming out on top, I mean, of course, there are a lot of chances, a lot of maps as well, a lot of matches, and a lot of games. And only a time will tell how these teams would actually play the rest of them out.
Absolutely, mate. Because again, just to recap our viewers for what happened on day number 1 in season
Yeah.
2 of these scrims, we were looking at 3 maps, or rather 3 games that all took place on the map of Erangel. But today is going to be a different affair altogether. But moving on along, let's have a look at something that has not changed. That's going to be the prize pool moving along from season 1 to season 2. Once again, we're looking at $2,000 on the line, and of course, first position holder will be given that $1,000 mark.
Exactly. I mean, that's a massive stack right there. And of course, who wouldn't want that? Anyone would want that. And what do you got to do? You got to secure points for yourself, and that's how you actually get to the season prize pool. I mean, $2,000 prize pool, $1,000, of course, to the first place. I mean, pretty much the same that was in the previous season as well. And I want to see. I mean, let's keep the prize pool aside. I actually want to see which team would win the season 2 as well, because I mean, we have some regional finals coming in the future as well, and I want to see some overall leaderboards before that.
Absolutely, mate. But before we move on to that, we do have to talk about the points themselves because that is what eventually combined together lead us towards those overall rankings. And in that, as you were saying, when it comes to season 2, well, there are a few new teams that have dragged along. New teams, not necessarily the word to choose, but we do know them. And when it comes to the aggression that they bring to the lobby, it is
Exactly.
just another level altogether. And that is where these points were indeed that one kill per. Well, again, this is looking. If you talk about yesterday, Necro,
Yeah.
few of these new teams, right? We were talking about how Zeus walked away with 16 skill from a single game. We were looking at Astra Academy back to back, in 2 individual games. One game they get 10 kills, another game they get 12 kills.
Yeah.
Wow. What a wonderful turn of events this is, mate.
Exactly. I mean that one kill per point is just an absolute incredible story for all these teams. And it has been, giving out some incredible plays as well. I mean, these teams are now from the past, and now things have changed a lot. And now teams are way much more aggressive. They realize the potential of getting a lot of kills. It can actually make a lot of comebacks happen as well, and it can get you a massive lead on the overall leaderboards if you're already on the top. But now let's take a look at the groups as well. And in Group B, we have Team QWERTY, which is on the struggling faces. And what are your thoughts about Team QWERTY and R3D?
Well, again, you talk about R3D. Yesterday, they did try and take that initial fight against TRZ Esports in the open and were genuinely thrown off their curve, right? Thrown off their ball that they were on, that they were trying to ride along when it came to the aggression, because TRZ Esports just gave it back to them with another level of aggression altogether. Now, on the other side, when you have a look at QWERTY, now, QWERTY's performance thus far has been interesting. There's a lot to expect from this team because we do know the IGL coming in as well as the players. They are well experienced. But today, now, this is where, when you talk about game number 4, 5, and 6, we are going to be moving along on day number 2 to the map of Miramar. And talking about QWERTY, we know them as F4 previously, right? This team does know this map really well and maybe could outshine the competition.
Well, I mean, it's not just Team QWERTY, you know, a lot of teams do know this map pretty well. I mean, pretty much all these teams. I mean, these are on the pro level,
True.
and especially if you have Zeus against your competition, then winning a map like Miramar is definitely going to be a tough thing.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. And in that, it is going to be a huge undertaking for so many of these teams in the lobby to, just give it to these Mongolian teams, because again, it is looking really dominating coming in from these Mongolian teams, and the way they've showcased day number one and their synergy being on point, it is beautiful. And that has, of course, resulted in the overall ranking where after 3 games, Zeus as well as Astra Academy, both the teams that we're talking about coming in from the Mongolian region, are placed at number 1 and number 2 respectively as of now.
Yep, number 1 and number 2. I mean, both these teams are, of course, one of the best. And Vibes, as I said, a team that was absolutely, destroyed from the PMCO. This team that was kind of separated, but now they just picked up the whole Carnage roster, and I feel like they're doing a pretty incredible job overall holding it together. Deadeyes as well, doing incredible on the 4th position. But I mean, hey, again, these overall stats are still not judgeable. It was just a day one. We still have a lot of matches to come forward, and we got to see how these teams perform.
Exactly, mate, and that is going to be really crucial, and the question that everybody's going to be asking when it comes to these scrims as to what and where are these scrims leading us to, where exactly are these teams leading themselves to with the kind of gameplay that they're showcasing in Season 2. Because you move that conversation towards Season 1, well, we do know Stalwart Flex had that consistent play working for them, and we're looking pretty comfortable on the overall ranking as well, but that was just Season 1 story, and that story card moved on towards Season 2 is a bit of a tipsy curve for the moment, definitely for Stalwart Flex. But again, I mean, that's just day number 1 that we have to talk about the stats from. Now, of course, move on along. We still have 3 more days remaining in this before we jump into the finals, of course.
Yeah, exactly. 3 more days, and then we jump in the finals. This is where everything gets decided, and this is where the real Battlefield starts. And talking about Battlefield, if you haven't noticed, actually, I'm not wearing my glasses, and I just realized that.
Oh, yep. Yep, that is true, mate. That is so
I
true.
actually just realized that.
But you know what the crazy thing is? I mean, it's just the way it worked out today, because I also normally do end up wearing glasses, right? But today I am set up with my lenses on, and I just came back from a run. It's raining outside, it's just drizzling a little bit, and it's just perfect weather to, get those lenses up, go out there, get that HD vision. And now talking about that HD clarity, once again, I'm sure you're going to need that as well, as the game's about to get started in a few minutes' time. And again, when it comes down to the aggression, all of the teams are certainly going to be bringing, hopefully are going to be bringing that A-class dominating play. But now I do want to talk about teams that have, till now, from Season 1 into Season 2 as well, they have just not proven that, that face that they are wanting to, which is, of course, a team like INES, for one, has not been able to do so. High Voltage, we see finally stepping up to that wonderful storyboard that's working for them. Venom Legends is certainly doing so for themselves as well. Again, I mean, where do you see teams that are not doing so well, consistently not doing so well from Season 1 to Season 2? Where do you think will their story card change, mate?
Well, I mean, this is a pretty tough question, because this time we have Mongolian region, and it's a pretty dominating region. This region is going to be making just hell break loose on a lot of teams, because whichever team gets in their way, they don't care. They will cut you apart. They will cut you open. And especially if you're going up against a big mammoth-like team. I don't even know if to call them mammoth. They're literally gods. They're Zeus. And if you're going to be going up against Zeus, then I don't know what to say. I mean, it's going to be a tough fight no matter what. Even if Zeus is down to a 2-man squad, they will still dominate the field. It doesn't matter if it's a 2-on-4 situation. They will head up challenge the fight. Absolutely,
they always do so, and gracefully they enter those fights and walk out with some perfect skill showcased. And that is, of course, what has proven that Zeus Esports is one of those teams that is genuinely separate from the entire lobby altogether, and thus they always do try and live up to that goodwill that they've created. But talking about, again, teams like, for example, Stalwart Flex, we've already spoken about. We talk about High Voltage now. High Voltage also yesterday were able to walk away with some really good kills that were looking in their favor. Vibe is another team that was very, very consistent. I mean, in Game 1 as well as Game 2, I think they were in the top 3 in both the games, right? So, again, that consistency is certainly working in their favor. Same goes for P and Crew. So, it is, I mean, a very very volatile situation when it comes to these scrims right now, because all the teams certainly are trying to prove their worth. In season 1, we can talk about that consistency working and falling down on Stalwart Flex. Now it's moved on towards P and Crew, and of course why Venom Legends trying to bring in that aggression as well. But apart from these teams that I'm constantly mentioning, what do you think about, of course, the champions of PMPL Season 3, DRS?
DRS, I mean, again, one thing I always kept on saying, even in the PMPL, is that DRS have one of the best utility usage. The precision that these lads have is just absolutely incredible. They know when to use it, they know how to use it, they cook it perfectly, they time it perfectly, they lob it perfectly. But sometimes, you know, somewhere down the line, DRS do get a little too you know, like confident, overconfident, I would like to say, and they overstep a little things sometimes, and this is where they do get caught off guard. I mean, especially if they win like one game, and then in the next game they just, you know, start going just absolute Rambo mode. They just start going absolute sicko mode, and in that mode sometimes they do get caught off guard. And this is what I'm saying: you don't need to be overconfident. You need to calm your horses. You need to play as if you won the first game. Okay, it doesn't matter. Our goal is to win another game as well. Our goal is to carry the legacy forward.
Exactly. That is so perfectly said, mate. I couldn't have said it better, because every single game, every single opportunity that you're given in every single game, you have to take it in your stride as if this is the first and last opportunity that's at your hand. And that you have to be able to convert into some perfectly skilled, synergistic performances from the entirety of the team as a squad, you know, moving on along from one compound to the other, taking one fight to the other, taking care of the entire situation that you're in 360 around. And that is where your team is going to be proven their mark. But at times, again, I mean, there are so many things that apply to this game, right? Because there is just days that you are in the game and you're in the flow and you're in that communicative spirit of that team spirit, you know, and at times there are days where you're just like, I don't feel like it, you know, I just want to take a chill pill break. Because now, why do I say that? Why do I say that? Of course, I do know that I'm talking about pro level players right here. They are all professionals. They have had some real good accolades for themselves, but yet we see teams jumping in with these games, only 3-man squad, at times 2-man army. I mean, what's going on there, dude? What do you think?
Well, I mean, one major reason might be connection, or maybe they're not able to join the lobby in time. I mean, there has been such a long time. Even in the PMPL, some teams or some player weren't really able to join in time. And it's just, you know, there's a saying, time and tide waits for none. And you need to follow the rules.
But boy, oh boy, what a perfect saying to be brought on along, especially towards our viewers. I'm not trolling you lads sitting back at home, but talking about time, I do request a few more minutes from you guys. We're going to go on a very, very short break, after which we will be jumping into match number 4. Stick around.
Encounter Titans during a match, just like in the movies. Let's learn more about the all-new game modes, shall we? Titan Strikes. The Titan Strikes mode introduces 3 Titans to Erangel, Sandhook, and Livid. Godzilla and Kong move along designated routes across the map. Players can chase after them in vehicles, but if you get too close, you'll be knocked down and take damage. When Titans get ready to unleash a heat ray, the system will prompt players to leave the red zone marked on the minimap. Players equipped with high-level armor receive reduced damage from the heat ray. Titans will absorb energy which emanates gradually from the earth. Once the energy reaches a certain threshold, Titans release it and create Titan crystals around them. Different types of Titan crystals provide different effects. Erangel's blue Titan crystals are special throwable items that players can equip. They knock back and burn enemies who are behind cover. Sandhook's gold Titan crystals enhance players' abilities, making you run faster and jump higher. Livik's red Titan crystals give players the ability to detect enemies nearby for a brief period of time. These enhancement items give players an edge in battle. Use them and bring the chicken dinner home. With the help of Titan crystals, players have even more unique tactics to achieve victory. Godzilla and Kong roam Erangel and Sandhook respectively, and players may bump into them on Spawn Island. Players can preview the Titan's route on the minimap, along with Apex Cybernetics, and low, mid, and high-level monster settlements. Apex Cybernetics are scattered along the Titan's route, which contains many valuable supplies. However, players can only enter the facility after a Titan has destroyed the base. Players that arrive early will not be able to get into the highly fortified Apex camp. At the same time, defeating different monster settlements rewards good supplies. Monster settlements are mainly occupied by lizards and crabs. Players can use a diversion to divide and conquer. The monsters are big, so using a shotgun at close range can deal huge damage. Players must also be wary of the Titan's attacks. Although they're not hostile towards players, they get irritated when there's too many players around. The Titan on Livik has unique electromagnetic abilities that affect the blue zone and cause it to shift every once in a while. Now, players must pay constant attention to the new play zones and transfer immediately when they begin to shrink, as to ensure they're not swallowed by the blue zone. Furthermore, Mechagodzilla periodically scans an area of the safe zone and marks the locations of everyone in the area on the minimap. This urges players to transfer or engage their enemies. Players must be extra careful. The Titan Strikes game mode is based on Battle Royale. Players must strive to be the last one standing amidst battling other players and Titans. With the addition of Titans, players are ready to witness their majesty and get their hands on the mysterious Titan crystals. Enjoy the all-new Titan Strikes and experience the earth-shattering might of it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to South Asia Pro Scrims powered by Nodwin Gaming. And we do know it has been a wonderful sight to witness since a long time. And now I want to see how things go down even on the bigger map, even on the bigger land, which is, of course, going to be Miramar, the deserty land. Is it going to be wet this time because of the bloodshed that will be on the lands of this desert? Only time will tell such kind of questions as TDK finally seems like they have dropped out the plane. And I want to actually take a glance at the map as well, where these teams are heading, because of course it's kind of an interesting way to see if these guys have changed their strategies or not. And here is the map. And we take a look at the plane flight path as well, kind of started from Impala towards El Pozo. It's quite an interesting fly path. I want to see where Team Zeus actually lands in. If they're playing in this group, I mean, of course, it doesn't seem like Zeus is actually in this group. They are going to be joining us in the next map, in the next match, and that would, of course, be an interesting match to witness as well. But INES this time, it seems like heading towards the El Pozo area, or it's quite an interesting kind of choices from these lads. And here comes this circle as well. It's more kind of like a circle that is in the center. I mean, Junkyard is the center spot of the circle. And I'm pretty sure a lot of teams will be accumulated in the center of the spot. 7C, though, this time it seems like they're going to be taking a longer route inside the vehicles towards El Azhar. And TDK as well. Take a look at Los Leones. TDK, Stalwart Flex, and there's A1 Esports at the same time. These teams have been locking horns since the PMPL days, and up till now, well, things are pretty much the same. It doesn't seem like anything has changed, and it's Vibes already opening things up. Prabid, the man, has already found himself the kill and the first point in the game, and that's going to be the first blood on his name as well. But Abe Stelkanik already found himself the opening that he was looking for. Trades are happening left and right as Vibes already have 2 players knocked out, and Abe seems like they're going to be punishing them left and right. It doesn't matter what's going on. Abe's is not going to be stopping anytime soon. Jiggle's kill has been confirmed there. The last 2 players are still alive. It's going to be Malik and Malip, but for how long, Manish? But for how long is Manish going to be able to hold this tricky situation off, though? He's in the apartments, but the entire Ape squad is in the front lines. 3v1 situation. Things are not really looking good for Vibes. And things like this always make a problem for all these teams. So take a look at TRZ as well. Nate there kind of getting the team kill as well, and it seems like TUF now are punishing TRZ as well. Unfortunate turn of events for a massive team, and TUF again punishing TRZ for such kind of rookie mistakes is, of course, going to be a massive factor in the game of PUBG. We have seen in the past as well, any kind of small mistakes, if you get a nade right on your teammates, and if you already gift your opponents that one knockdown, that one opening that your opponents are looking for, they will, of course, punish you down. And this is what exactly TUF demonstrated on the live game that is going on right now. ESP, of course, the man, which was doing pretty good since yesterday. TUF, again, it seems like they have gotten themselves quite a good amount of loot. Continuing with that Tommy gun. Tommy gun, again, the meta, which has been since recently. A lot of teams have been using Tommy gun. Not just Tommy gun, Uzis as well. SMGs have been the meta in the recent meta as well. And it does make sense. SMGs are pretty good. But now TUF, I really want to elaborate on the fact that TUF took down the entire squad of TRZ single-handedly. Almost it was flawless, but already Edgar was taken down, so that's an unfortunate turn of events for that team. Now it's just a 3-man squad. But I mean, in the past, we have seen what teams are capable of doing with just a 3-man squad as well. But TRZ still has 2 players alive. Atomic and Cat are still alive and good-looking, pretty much healthy. And I want to see how these lads actually play this entire situation out. Apes, again, they do realize the heat of the situation. They do realize they are in the center of the map, in the area of Picado. So, of course, you need to watch out from your enemy lines as well. You need to make sure you're being as safe as possible. And things like these might punish your teams in the later phases. If you're not going to be having a lot of utilities, that's going to be punishing your team out a lot.
Absolutely, Necro, and right here, of course, this is where punishments could very well get started because, of course, we still do have 16 minutes, or rather 16 teams all alive and only 5 minutes into the game, but it is the map of Miramar where things do end up stretching a little bit. Right here, we can see Team Vibe, the consistent players from day number 1, seem to be taking a very slow approach where Manish seems to have just held one thing, and that is going to be to get as much information as he can possibly and relay it towards his teammates. Now, as we look on towards the map, it seems like we've got 3 teams in this area right now. Of course, we were just looking at YB Sports, along with which they've got their eyes towards the side of Apes, but there seems to be another team that is in the back lines of Team Vibe for the moment.
The push is coming in through. I'm pretty sure Malik is kind of panicking the situation. Apes is already down one by one, slowly and steadily. And it doesn't seem like Apes is going to give it up that easily. Apes seems pretty unstoppable up till now. One player was taken down. The opening from the players of Wipes was found, but then Apes just absolutely demolished the entire squad of Wipes one by one. And now Wipes is just down to that one last man surviving. Blood Legion, of course, a squad from the Bangladesh region. Probably one of the best squads that they have to offer. Does carry a PMPL experience on their back as well. So we do expect a dominating performance from this team, especially Dominic, though, kind of separating out from the team, trying to create a flank angle, maybe create an anonymous angle on the enemy lines. And we do know it does work out quite a lot.
Absolutely. In these sort of situations, you know, creating those flank approaches is the best bet that these teams can possibly rely upon when it comes to, you know, converting a situation like this into your favor. But in that doing so, there needs to be a lot of information that needs to be relayed amongst the team members as well. You know, the synergy needs to be on point for them to be able to understand exactly the kind of push that they're planning on doing. And in that, it is right now, of course, XP Blood Legion as well as Apes who have the information against each other. Though Manish is the one lad, I believe, who was alive from the side of Team Vibe, who is still sticking very close to XP Blood Legion, but has not yet given away his position.
Without a doubt. It's the stare-down competition up till now. Pretty much both these teams playing it out as safe as possible. I mean, let's be honest, Plotter, you know, neither you thought, neither I thought these teams would be taking such a tactical approach inside the scrims as well, you know, especially as these are just, you know, the matches that you need to qualify in the finals. And these teams are actually playing these kind of circumstances out pretty safe as possible. They're making sure they're not dying as fast as possible. And there we see Destroyer actually getting knocked out. And I think so. He got knocked out from fall damage, and now it seems like his whole team is getting punished for it.
Damn, dude. I mean, we were talking about Team QWERTY, yes? Again, we know for a fact that Destroyer is a member of that team, but seems like this is not going to be the game that we might see them, you know, outshine the competition. But again, bring that conversation to the side of Apes as well as XP Blood. As of now, there seems to be just... They seem to be just holding their grounds. But look at Dominic coming in from the left flank of XP Blood Legion, or side of XP Blood Legion, and that could prove crucial, really crucial, to throw Apes off of this curve that they're on. It seems like they are really, really in control, but wait till Dominic shows his face.
Wait till Dominic shows his face, as you did say that anonymous angle, that anonymous factor, that is what Dominic is bringing inside this fight. Apes, though, I mean, this team is doing pretty fantastic. They do realize the heat of the moment, and they do know there's some players inside the apartments area that is right in their front lines. And Anik, though, he has his sights locked. He's making sure no one is peeking out those windows, and even if they do, they're not going back in safely.
Ooh, I'm liking the circle, dude. I mean, I've just laid my eyes upon the circle and the shift that it's doing, and this is phenomenal. Now, bring the conversation towards the side of XP Blood Legion. It is Leo who seemed to be raining down, bled towards the side of the push coming in from Apes, but seems like Apes have gotten one knock. That's going to be White at the receiving end. But this is not going to be good, Gyro, because as you try and get that knock confirmed into a kill, into a point, Karnak is prepared. But Dominic on the other side, the flank that he's created, is going to be helping the position of Gyro, and eventually he will be able to walk away with that 1 point for now, going towards the side of XP Blood Legion. Apes on the other end, the push that they tried to, bring on has backfired drastically.
Backfired drastically. As I did mention, sometimes you don't need to be overconfident. Apes wiped out almost the entire distance of Wipes, and then their confidence level boosted up to Cloud 9, and then they decided maybe they can take out Blood Legion that easily. Well, Blood Legion, on the other hand, is a way stronger team, punished them for their mistakes, and waiting for them to make any kind of mistakes. And now Anik as well, taking a look at how he exposed himself against the wall, but kind of making a rookie mistake, stepping out the cover. He should have held his horses again. Again, Apes is being overconfident and overstepping their boundaries and kind of aggressing in for no reason. If they just hold their ground and not expose their bodies and try and find the right moment to strike, that's where I feel like they could have turned this entire fight in their favor.
Absolutely, mate. Again, I mean, you know, there are moments in game where you need to understand those fights that you do need to be a part of, and the fights that you can very well, without feeling ashamed or anything, you know, walk out of. And that's going to be crucial as well, because right now, what Apes has resulted in doing is, yes, they did end up getting a few points, but eventually the placement points are not going to be, you know, favoring them, because they have been wiped out 15th on the position board, and that's not going to be giving them any point whatsoever at all. Move that conversation towards the side of Team QWERTY, where we did see Destroyer get fall damage and being sent back into the lobby, but all the other three lads are still alive right here. We've got Khan, we've got Rahman, as well as Voltrix, who seem to be wanting to take a fight against the side of A1. And A1 Esports, well, the thing working for them is going to be the compound. That is going to be working perfectly, because it seems that they will have so many different angles that they could approach this fight through. But on the other side, of course, Voltrix being in control of this push. What is he doing, mate? What was he doing there? What? Well, wow.
Team QWERTY has certainly lost their minds. I don't know what kind of plays these lads are making. Even Destroyer kind of fell out of his vehicle. And now we have another unfortunate casualty. I mean, of course, you did know. You did know there is A1 Esports inside the compound. Ramming your vehicle straight inside the compound isn't really the play that you want to make, and certainly QWERTY did make that, and now they have been punished. Voltrix was the man who did that again. Voltrix and Destroyer, two kills that should not have been gone, that should not have been given away by Team QWERTY that easily, but now they too are eliminated, and now it's just down to these two lads. Rahman, of course, the man, the myth, the legend. He makes the entire Pakistan region proud, and I'm pretty sure he has a massive fan base. And then we have one of the best IGL in the game, Khan.
Exactly, and these are the two lads. Again, we were just mentioning, you know, fights that you need to be a part of, and fights that you understand that will not go in your favor. So it's better to walk out without losing any goodwill, or without losing any sort of, you know, stead approach in the game. And that's what this team has showcased perfectly for the side. But eventually, again, these two lads are really separated for the moment. And again, you talk about the placement that they're at. There are a few teams that are up above them when you talk about that King of the Hill situation, and that could very well backfire for this team of QWERTY. But we shall have to see as to what sort of positioning does Khan and Rahman bring into the circle. Talking about teams who are still trying to get themselves in the circle, we are looking at the northern side is what I'm looking at, and we've got R3D right there, who is making that rotation, a late rotation coming in from Al-Azhar towards Hacienda del Pentron, I think is going to be their rotation, and on the other tangent is going to be INES walking towards another rotation that might result in them walking straight into the crosshairs of Seal Esports from the looks of it.
So it's late in the game. A lot of unfortunate deaths have happened, especially from Team QWERTY. But now we still have Khan and Rahman alive. And good luck and in the game as well. SP and crew lock their sights on the players of 7C. One shot connected, second almost as well, but it doesn't seem like quite luck has been found there. Khan does know 7C's right in the front line, so trying to play it out as safe as possible. But I feel like minimizing the distance between your teammates is going to be the best choice or the best bet you can take, because Rahman is nowhere near Khan.
Exactly. For now, Rahman is actually knocked as well, and that is going to be trouble for Khan because, well, if he wants to give that revive, he's going to have to push out in the open, and that, of course, is something that, well, is not an easy decision to make, that's for sure, along with which it is going to be really difficult for Khan to hold his stead as well. For how long? Because again, he's given that information towards the side of 7C. He already did try and take a little bit of fight towards PN Crew's players as well. So PN Crew also know for a fact that there are players there, and here we go. R3D Joker on the receiving end from the side of Deadeyes Guys, and Deadeyes Guys are the one on the top of this hill for the moment. They've got information being relayed throughout, and the way they've got themselves fanned out from Hungry Box towards on top and all the entirety of the players right here. They have the compound as well as perfect 2v2 split coming in from these lads, right? I mean, they had the compound that these two lads were taking care of, and on the other side we had Hungry Box and Suyokso, who moved up north towards the hill to get a little bit more information related to his team, and that has resulted perfectly because now they know R3D's rotation and they are prepared to bring their crosshairs towards them and not allow R3D to get into the circle. But R3D is resilient. They've made a really long rotation. They're not going to be backing down from this small little aggression from the side of Deadeyes Guys, and will be able to get away.
That bold rotation coming in from the side of R3D. Of course, maybe it will be putting them in a good spot, though. But sometimes you can get caught off guard just like that.
Ooh.
Just like that, you can get caught off guard. Neuer, for paying the price for his team, is kind of the bait that was left in the back. So the rest of the team, so the rest of the pack can move forward. And now I'm pretty sure R3D are going to be disappointed after losing a player that easily. Of course, an unfortunate death that should not have occurred. But are they going to be going back though? I don't feel like going back to that teammate again is going to be the best bet you can take. But R3D, it doesn't matter. They're going to be doing it anyways.
Exactly. We see Joker in the very close, very close actually, and is going to be given that revive. So that's going to work in their favor because they will be able to walk away from this early skirmish that they did not want to be a part of. And well, what do you know? You've got all 4 players alive. As you move in towards the final few moments of the circle, this is going to be perfectly what you want, especially on a map of Miramar, where it is going to be that much more crucial to have all 4 members of your team alive as you move towards those final few moments. With that, it is going to be INES bringing in their crosshairs towards the side of Stalwart Flex, is it? And this is looking pretty good. I mean, we were talking about INES, showcasing a bit more of that aggressive stance that has been missing from their gameplay. But here they are, and they are proving it that, well, we're going to be walking away with a few points. And with that, they've already got that 1 point of that kill.
Exactly. And you know the fun facts over here is that Deadeyes were the one who took out the players of R3D. They catched them off guard, and now Deadeyes and R3D are having a rivalry since the PNPL days. They have been having a rivalry, and this is kind of an interesting stance, you know, to witness, because I'm pretty sure the salt is being built, the salt is being sprinkled upon. But now let's take a look at the fight that is happening in the front of our screens as PN Crew sees it, lobbing in a little bit of nade, barraging the nades in. None of them seems like it's connecting though, but TRZ has found themselves in luck as they are barraging the nades on the players of R3D. Already found themselves 2 knocks that they were looking for. TRZ already was down to a 2-man squad, and now it seems like there's still a 2-man squad, 2-man strong squad.
Wow, I mean, TRZ, the way that nade parade worked in their favor was just gorgeous to be able to see coming in onto of course the kill feed, but we were not able to see it on our screens. But again, I mean, what we were able to see on our screens was again that much more awesome, because it was INES trying to take a fight against the side of this team, but eventually it is the NC that seems to be looking pretty strong. But right here we talk about 7C. Now 7C is not looking good. They've only got one player alive. 2 others have been knocked already as they try to take a fight against the side of A1 Esports. A1 Esports do have 2 knocks as well for themselves, but they will be given a revive. Thus, they will probably have all 4 members alive as they try and get themselves out of the situation. But another thing is that the circle is gunning for both of these teams as we look on towards the northern side. There you go, where you do see the circle slowly and steadily getting away from the side of 7C. And when it comes to A1 Esports, well, they are going to be looking to just get out of this compound and towards the center of the circle. For now, it is going to be a lot of open rushes that we might be able to see from the side of A1 Esports and well, 7C as well. But on the other side, it is A1 Esports that, of course, will be able to walk out of that situation with 4 points to themselves. And now is going to be the time where teams are going to have to start thinking about how do they get into the center of the circle, because this is where it is an open circle that we are looking at for all of these teams.
All these teams is what you said. But now TDK have their crosser trained to kill on the players of their enemy lines. It's only a matter of seconds. One peek will be happening and the kill will be found. TRZ, as I did mention, almost wiped out the existence of the entire squad of R3D single-handedly with just that nade barrage. As A1 Esports still alive, good looking inside the game. 3 players on their nade. And there are quite a lot of teams that are still looking strong and good. A team like Deadeyes.
Absolutely, mate. And on the other side, of course, is going to be T2K as well as Esports. That is to the south of their position. That's when you could talk about Train to Kill. Again, though, they're all in the open. Seems like Train to Kill certainly has a little bit working in their favor, and that is going to be that tractor that has been set up in the middle of that farm. But again, Esports is the one that I'm looking at. No, my apologies there. That's not Esports. That is going to be Skylightz Gaming right there on the southern position of T2K. And that team also, when they are resilient, when they do know how exactly are they going to be entering a fight, they bring it down into their favor and bring their opponents down to the knee, down to the T, is what we might expect from that team. But right now, it is R3D and TUF in a real close combat situation. Really close combat situation. There's no guns required right here. It is just fists that might be able to do it all for the side of TUF and R3D from the looks of it.
Well, TUF's teammate's back was actually on fire, and it kind of looked like he was popping a nitrous. But now it seems like TDK opening things up on their enemy lines, finding the opening that they were looking for. Same goes with Deadeyes. P and crew not really having the time of their life, but TUF definitely is, as they have taken down Walker from R3D, and that's a massive price to pay, as R3D are not really having the time of their lives. They are not really having the day of their life as well. If second day is not going to be going in your favor as well, then maybe you will have to fasten things up. Then maybe you will have to be quick on your feet.
Absolutely, and right here when you talk about the circle, another 45 seconds, we're going to be seeing another major turn of events where the 5th circle is going to be moving on slowly down towards 6th. And right here when you talk about Skylightz as well as T2K, who had the cover of that perfect compound and this tractor respectively, well, we've got Charizard or whatever that is, that Pokemon down there, that is going to be asking T2K's players, dude, get out of this, get out and get in the circle, the sooner the better, mate.
Well, I mean, it was shaking his neck. It was like, okay, it's the perfect time to move out. And also, you need to watch your toes from the tractor, because there are some bullets, you know, that can be rattled off beneath there. So you need to watch out your toes. And we do know, you know, sometimes even if we hit a table and with our toe, you know, we do know it hurts quite a lot. So you need to make sure your toes are safe all the time. And things like that, yep, we have seen in the past as well, you know, when we're just trying to walk inside a house and we accidentally hit our toe to the table, we do know how it hurts.
Well, again, when you talk about Train to Kill, these lads know what they're getting into, right? They have the perfect cover of their vehicles that they're going to be utilizing in their favor. They've got their meds and painkillers all set up and propped up as well. But here might be an opportunity for QWERTY to bring in those killer toe action. No, let's not go there. Let's not go there, but that's not happening because Train to Kill certainly has walked away from those killer toe moments.
QWERTY's like, give me them toes, boy. Well, now Killer again trying to scout out the area. doesn't seem like he has spotted anyone out though. But Skylightz Gaming definitely has spotted out Deadeyes there. Deadeyes is taking quite a lot of damage from that nade. They're more kind of like a center of attraction, at least for now.
And with that, we're looking at 4 teams alive. We've got Skylightz Gaming right here that seems to be pushing on alongside the cover that has been set up towards the side of Deadeyes Guys. There's a lot of nades being sent towards the side of DE, and DE is on the receiving end. PN Cruz, QWERTY seems to be chiming in along as well, but Deadeyes Guys, they have a lot of control, and Hungry Boxer, he seems to not have gotten any damage whatsoever at all on his utility, as well as all the health working in his favor. We see Chiefy Sir as well as on Pot Sir. Interesting, I mean, on top is what the name was, wasn't it, mate?
Yep, it was on top. It was on top, sir, but now Deadeyes, again, seems like Joker is trying to spot their toes out, but again, it's not going to be that easy. The car is already blown up. That means there's not a lot of space between the ground and the car. So shooting the toes out, especially between the grass as well, when you're not really having clear vision, is of course going to be a tough thing. Avon Esports kind of far away from the rest of the crew. 6ix9ine boy has been taken down. The res should be there without any trouble because there is one more player still alive and good looking. If he's back up on the feet, Avon Esports will have 2 of their players still in the game. Skylightz Gaming, Deadeyes, and Avon Esports, all of these lads have two players on their name.
Absolutely, and right here, when you talk about Skylightz Gaming, they certainly have a lot working in their favor because they've got the cover. But on the other side, on the receiving barrage is going to be A1 Esports, for whom not only are these teams, the opponent teams, keeping a lurking eye with their crosshairs, but also the circle. The circle is going to be pushing A1 Esports to get down into the circle, and that's going to be, oh, dude, that's going to be, the zone is going to be really, really detrimental right here. But seems like A1 Esports certainly have been able to utilize that perfect placement in there, where Deadeyes Guys were busy with Skylightz, and A1 Esports have moved into the zone.
They have moved into the zone indeed. That nade was doing quite a lot of damage, but Deadeyes here still trying to play it out as safe as possible, trying to spot anyone out. A1 Esports barraging the nades in. It seems like they were saving those nades for the perfect moment, and now it seems like it's the moment. Skylightz Gaming, the entire squad has been wiped out. RX Jax's eyes are an absolute eagle eye. It doesn't seem like he's going to be stopping anytime soon. Hungry Box, though, making a bold move, stepping out the cover. He did know it's either do or die situation, and that's how he was taken out as well, out in the open. Unfortunate stuff, but that was an absolute fabulous game from the lads of Avon Esports.
Absolute perfect play coming in from an A1 Esports indeed. I mean, when you talk about that final circle, the way it was pushing on along against A1 Esports, it was looking not so good for them. But the way they were able to walk out of that, the way they were able to utilize the fight between Skylightz and DE was spot on. Absolute crucial moment right there that they decided to push along into the circle. And again, I mean, just perfect GG play coming in from this team. Talk about Seal Esports, they were on that 8th spot right there. XP Blood Legion today, we did see in the right off the bat in the game that they were looking pretty comfortable as well. But now you move on towards 14th position right here. That is going to be Team QWERTY. Not off to a decent start. Stalwart Flex, not off to a great start. When it comes to day number 2 of season 2 of these scrims, there's a lot to expect from so many of these teams, mate.
There's not. Well, I mean, again, hey, look, Skylightz Gaming tried their level best in the game as well. This game, Skylightz Gaming did pretty good, not gonna lie. They did try their level best to come out on top. But again, circumstances, situations sometimes, and consequences sometimes can just not go in your favor. And a lot of teams are looking for redemption.
They most certainly are. They most certainly are. So I was just comparing the charts that I've got based on Season 1 Miramar gameplays, right? Because Season 1 was only 2-day affair. Right here, when it comes to Season 2, we're looking at these 2 days. We're going to have 1 short break, 1 day's break, and then we'll jump in with day number 3 and day number 4 before we get into the finals for Season 2 scrims. And right here, when you talk about the way Miramar games have worked out in Season 1, we're looking at a completely different turn of events, where indeed, I mean, DRS was looking real confident in Season 1. PN Crew, T2K, 7C, none of them are here. None of them are here in the top 5. It is going to be a complete different turn of events where A1 Esports seems to have moved on along. Deadeyes Guys are looking pretty comfortable and confident. Skylightz Gaming is right here as well, with a decent amount of kills as well, I mean, compared to the other teams that are behind them.
Exactly. I mean, again, there's a lot of teams behind him. Let's be honest. I mean, take a look at Blood Legion. I mean, they've came through a long way. Now in the
True.
PMCO, an absolute aggressive play style. Okay, but then as soon as they went inside the PMPL, things changed from ground to sky, from bottom to up. Things changed quite a lot. They had to change their strategy from playing all the way aggressive to playing all the way safer. And they had to make so many changes in their strategy as well. And this is what I really feel like is kind of messing with their minds up as well. They're not really able to find their sweet spot. They're not really able to find their sweet tuning. I really feel like Blood Legion should be a team which is more kind of a passive aggressive, which is a team, Blood Legion should be a team like either, okay, if you have a team in the enemy lines, you would challenge the fight. But at the same time, if you find yourself a knock, maybe push in forward and then try and play as safe as possible. Just put in a lot of pressure on the enemy lines.
Absolutely, and with that, with match number 4 coming to an end, we've still got 2 games remaining for day number 2, and in doing so, it is Deadeyes Guys who seem to have boosted themselves up to first position with 59 points. Looking pretty comfortable for the moment. Talk about 4th and 5th position holder. That's going to be Vibe Esports and A1 Esports respectively. Both of them at 44 points standard. Stalwart Flex on the other end is on 14th and going down as far as their positioning on this overall ranking is concerned.
Exactly. I mean, the overall ranking again on the second half. The second latter half isn't really looking good, but TRZ are playing pretty good inside the scrims and against the top dogs. Actually, they are performing pretty good against the top dogs, and
True.
I'm pretty sure TRZ are going to be going a long way this time around. They're going to be having an absolute blast playing, you know, the future competitions that are going to be upcoming for these lads, and I'm pretty sure TRZ will prove their ground.
Most certainly, I keep my fingers crossed for the same. Another team that I do want to talk about that has been falling down in terms of their play. All right, before we get into that, let's have a look at the top players coming in, where indeed it is Jax from A1 Esports with 7 kills, dude. 7 kills to this lad's name, and A1 Esports in match number 4 right now that we just witnessed had a total of 11 kills total. Jax is on a spree.
Exactly. RX Jax. I mean, let's be honest, in the A1 Esports squad, 2 of my favorite players, without a doubt, are going to be Sinister and RX Jax. I mean, in the
True.
PMPL as well, without a doubt. I mean, whenever I just take these lads' name, I have flashbacks of their plays as well. Sinister has made some incredible clutches in the PMPL as well, and same goes with RX Jax. He's more kind of like he's more kind of like a fluid role, you know. He plays more kind of like a flexible role. He can do whatever. He can even support sometimes. He can even be a fragger for your teams, and he can even do a support fragging role as well. So I mean, Jax is just an absolute flexible player. It just depends on the IGL how you tune him around.
Absolutely, mate. But very close to him was also Hungry Box coming in from Deadeyes Guys. Again,
Yeah.
I mean, a team that has been doing really, you know, slowly and steadily bringing up their level of gameplay. That's going to be really good to see. But with that, game number 4 of day 2 of season 2 of these pro scrims does come to an end. We're going to go on a very short break, after which, of course, we shall jump directly into match number 5. Stick around.
PUBG Mobile, Godzilla vs. Kong. All new collaboration, live now. In the latest version of PUBG Mobile, players may encounter titans during a match, just like in the movies. Let's learn more about the all-new game modes, shall we? Titan Strikes. The Titan Strikes mode introduces 3 titans to Erangel, Sandhook, and Libbit. Godzilla and Kong move along designated routes across the map. Players can chase after them in vehicles, but if you get too close, you'll be knocked down and take damage. When Titans get ready to unleash a heat ray, the system will prompt players to leave the red zone marked on the minimap. Players equipped with high-level armor receive reduced damage from the heat ray. Titans will absorb energy which emanates gradually from the earth. Once the energy reaches a certain threshold, Titans release it and create Titan crystals around them. Different types of Titan crystals provide different effects. Erangel's blue Titan crystals are special throwable items that players can equip. They knock back and burn enemies who are behind cover. Sandhook's Gold Titan Crystals enhance players' abilities, making you run faster and jump higher. Livik's Red Titan Crystals give players the ability to detect enemies nearby for a brief period of time. These enhancement items give players an edge in battle. Use them and bring the chicken dinner home. With the help of Titan Crystals, players have even more unique tactics to achieve victory. Godzilla and Kong roam Erangel and Sandhook respectively, and players may bump into them on Spawn Island. Players can preview the Titan's route on the minimap, along with Apex Cybernetics, and low, mid, and high-level monster settlements. Apex Cybernetics are scattered along the Titan's route, which contains many valuable supplies. However, players can only enter the facility after a Titan has destroyed the base. Players that arrive early will not be able to get into the highly fortified Apex camp. At the same time, defeating different monster settlements rewards good supplies. Monster settlements are mainly occupied by lizards and crabs. Players can use a diversion to divide and conquer. The monsters are big, so using a shotgun at close range can deal huge damage. Players must also be wary of the Titan's attacks. Although they're not hostile towards players, they get irritated when there's too many players around. The Titan on Livik has unique electromagnetic abilities that affect the blue zone and cause it to shift every once in a while. Now, players must pay constant attention to the new play zones and transfer immediately when they begin to shrink, as to ensure they're not swallowed by the blue zone. Furthermore, Mechagodzilla periodically scans an area of the safe zone and marks the locations of everyone in the area on the minimap. This urges players to transfer or engage their enemies. Players must be extra careful. The Titan Strikes game mode is based on Battle Royale. Players must strive to be the last one standing amidst battling other players and Titans. With the addition of Titans, players are ready to witness their majesty and get their hands on the mysterious Titan Crystals. Enjoy the all-new Titan Strikes and experience the earth-shattering might of the Titans.
Hello and welcome back once again to PUBG Mobile South Asia Pro Scrims Season 2 by Northern Gaming. This is day number 2 that we're on, and of course, match number 4 just came to an end. We are on the Miramar day. It is really intense battles that we've been seeing thus far, Necro. But dude, we've got 2 games remaining. We are certainly seeing teams that were not so where... I mean, again, all the teams for sure are very well known, are really skilled. But you want to talk about teams like, for example, A1 Esports, Deadeyes Guys, Skylightz Gaming. These are teams who we know for a fact are really skilled, but have not been able to do or prove that mark when it comes to pro scrims. But here they are, bring in a complete different synergy as the change of map. Now, moving on along with the second game of the day, where do you think is your allegiance going to lie, mate?
Well, I mean, A1 Esports did get a chicken dinner, so kind of happy for that entire squad there. But now let's as you did say, teams like still Venom Legends are lying around, but Legion are lingering around as well from Bangladesh region.
True.
And if you ask me my thoughts on them as well, so I mean things are not really looking good. You only have 2 more days going on in your favor. If you're not really able to get the second day going, the momentum shift is not really in your favor, then things are of course going to be a lot much more trickier. But now inside this game, I feel like we might see Zeus back.
That is true. Another team I do want to be able to see is going to be this team, Team QWERTY right here. It's almost as if the observer read my mind, because that's where I wanted to take the conversation towards, Necro. Because you talk about this team, that's going to be Team QWERTY. They are not off to, or rather, I should say, they're off to a rocky start when it comes to the entirety of these pro scrims. And combining their efforts, it is going to be really, really important for them to, utilize this opportunity that they've been given to try and work out what is it that's going wrong for them. Because the other teams, they're certainly, slowly and steadily getting there. They are certainly trying to move on along with a steady pace. But Team QWERTY, somehow, there seems to be a lot of dis-synergy amongst them.
Exactly. I mean, take a look at the plane flight path as well. More kind of like a southern plane flight path. Started from the right side, ending all the way in the south. And of course, I mean, now a lot of teams, prefer to drop in the prison area. Especially when I used to play PUBG, I mean, in Miramar area, if the plane flight path is near prison, I don't mind dropping in that area, It's not a bad area. It does consist of pretty decent loot, and I really feel like it's not a bad area, but I do understand why these pro teams do not like to go all the way to the bottom and then maybe, try and make it back in the circle as well. If the circle is really far away from you, then you're pretty much cocked.
Yep, you certainly have walked into a pretty nightmarish situation right there as you move into the southern part of the map. And talking about the circle, it is on a completely different trajectory altogether. That is again one of those curveballs that the gods of PUBG love to throw at these players. But bring that conversation towards rivalry that we saw in the previous game. Here it is once again, and it seems like Vibes player Manish this time around, who last time around was the only one who was able to survive for the longest time in this hustle, is the one who's been knocked down right off the bat.
It's like APES actually targeted Manish this time, and they were like, okay, last time you survived, now you're going down first. It doesn't matter. You are taken down first. But APES, again, the domination, starting their domination early off in the game, already showing their names on the kill leaderboard, on the kill feed as well, is of course going to be putting instilling fear in some teams.
Most certainly, mate. Once again, I mean, we are looking at these 2 teams trying to battle it out on the region of Picado. And what are we looking at there, mate? We've got PES, that's going to be Portal Esports, bringing annihilating play towards the side of Zeus Esports, who interestingly enough are at the receiving end. Boy, oh boy. I mean, again, when you talk about Miramar, many a times it is the map that ends up taking the longest, but this time around, this map is not. I mean, yesterday also we saw that. When it comes to this game, it is just perfect that the scrims, they are not taking a slow pace, right? The teams, they want to get into the fight as early, as quickly as possible.
Exactly. As early, as quickly as possible. But now take a look at APES as well. I mean, more kind of like an interesting, the way these guys are playing. Again, playing it out safe and steadily and safe. They do realize the situation, and also realize This is early game. You need to make sure you're having comfortable loot. That's why they're moving around looting, while on the other hand, Vibes is just pinned down inside a building. That means they are not going to be ending up with good loot.
Absolutely, and right here we bring the conversation towards the southern part, towards Chumasera, where we've got High Voltage bringing in 2 defeats for themselves. That, of course, is going to be converting into 2 kills. That's looking real good. Right here we've got Extreme, who seems to have his crosshairs towards the side of TRZ, and perhaps the 2 defeats that we're talking about could be TRZ at the receiving end, where we've got White Cat and Mamba, the 2 players who at least right now seem like are the ones alive from the side of TRZ, and they are going to be backing out of this situation where High Voltage has already gotten 2 kills. Will they be wanting more? Yes is the answer. They are not allowing the team to walk away from this fight. Aussie right here wanted to get his basically his account started when it comes to the amount of kills, right? And he seems to be pretty comfortable with the Uzi that he's got. Interestingly, on the other side, Mamba and White Cat, they are just wanting to rush out of there, mate. They do not want any of this, but Aussie is going to be gunning them down. Points. All they want is to get some points, because High Voltage, when it comes to the overall, again, they are on the second page, I believe, for now.
Yep. They're on the second page. Things are looking pretty wobbly for them. They do realize, I mean, again, scrims are probably mostly for the money. I mean, there's really nothing to prove in the scrims. All you need to play is for the points and for the money and for the prize pool that you're going to be getting inside this. And now TRZ, again, pinned inside that little house. Don't really have a lot of space to move in. Don't really have a lot of breathing space. Take a look at how Cooney's positioning himself as well. All the way on the left lines, on the flank angle as well. And this is where TRZ now has been completely surrounded from all the angles.
Oh boy, and it is Assassin right here who is, well, looking pretty comfortable with the 2 kills that he's got for his team, and he is not wanting to back down. He is going to push this team back into the lobby. That's going to be TRZ at the receiving end from the looks of it. How exactly are both these teams actually going to be able to hold the position as well as create this push? Because after all, Assassin right here is determined to convert those kills. And as you were mentioning, Cooney, he's going back onto the flank angle where High Voltage is, again, I mean, they're determined. They do not want the 2 players of TRZ to walk away any further, to run away any further. They want these kills now.
They want these kills now. The curiosity, of course, builds up all the time as the time on the clock is ticking slowly and steadily. TRZ, though, holding their horses, playing it out as safe as possible, waiting for High Voltage to make any kind of mistakes. Of course, the play you want to make in such kind of situations, if you're going to be walking out and challenging a fight, that's, of course, going to be hurting you and your team out quite a lot. But the way they are challenging the fight is quite interesting. Now, TRZ, White Cat, kind of safe inside a small room. It seems like they are quite scared. Now they do know High Voltage, as I am talking about all the time, as I'm saying, High Voltage is really well known for their attacks. Hey, Mamba, kind of missing shots here and there, and of course will be punished without a doubt.
Perfect play, dude. That was just perfect play coming in from Extreme and Assassin as they walked right in front of the player. That's Mamba right there. But again, Mamba was not able to, use his Macrozy to the level that he would have wanted to. But it is going to be the final lad for the side of TRZ, the White Cat, who is going to be able to knock 2 players with the help of that grenade. And right here, Extreme. Wow. Perfect. Extreme and Cooney were the one who were on the outflank and were able to stop TRZ's White Cat to run away or slip away from this situation. But boy, White Cat did stand his ground and was able to almost walk away with those points. Now, right here, we were looking at Futurestation that is going to be slowly moving in towards the zone, as we have another team that was right in front of them, and they have not yet given the information. R3D once again coming in from the bridge top, and well, again, a late rotation coming in from the side of R3D as they get into the zone. Always, right? Always we've seen R3D bringing in a really late rotation. Same goes for this team as well. That's going to be Futurestation. That again, we are looking at ouch.
That hurts. That hurts your team and even your team reputation just like that. In a matter of seconds, your team's player is already down and dusted. And R3D, I don't know why, even in the map of Wrangle, they always prefer those late game rotations. And this is what is actually punishing them out quite a lot since a long time, since the PMPL as well. I've been saying this. Maybe they should try and rotate a little early. Maybe they should try and rotate, try and get that center of the zone a little early. And this is when maybe, things would start working out for you. Because if you're going to be taking those late, desperate rotations inside the circle, it's like you don't have any time to stop. If you stop, of course, the zone's going to be ticking out a lot of damage.
Absolutely, mate. That is so very true indeed. And on the other side, the one who were dishing out the damage, right? That's going to be the team of Futurestation. That, of course, we're looking at the players of 1952 right there. Now, the 1952 players, as we know them, or rather their gameplay from PMPL, what we saw them was that they love to create those bridge camp situations, right? When it came down to the map of Triangle, we saw that team every single time stick their crosshairs on towards that southern bridge, towards military base. That would be their go-to spot so many times. And again, that's what they are showcasing right here, that when it comes to the bridge camps, well, there's no team that's going to be able to walk away from them. But right now, as we move the conversation towards Astra Academy, they have had a Cry has already been sent back into the lobby. They haven't had a single kill confirmed thus far from Astra Academy, and seems like another player is going to be going down, and it is Team QWERTY standing up this time around.
Again, Team QWERTY this time now. This game, the confidence level are boosted up. They have chucked in a lot of energy drinks as well, and now they are ready, set for any kind of fights that will be happening in their front lines. Destroyer, this time maybe hopefully you're not going to be making any rookie mistakes and just getting knocked out. That would of course help your team out quite a lot. But Astra Academy already down to a two-man squad. 2 players left the lobby quite early in the game, and Astra Academy now kind of scared, running for their lives. Pika needs to make sure he's back to his teammates. Now staying together, the unity should be the main thing in the game.
Absolutely, mate. I kind of feel bad though, Necro. I mean, as soon as the observer brought us towards the side of Astra Academy, I noticed that one lad had already been sent back to the lobby, and I was like, oh no, that's not good. I mean, this is a team that on day number 1 showcased a lot of wonderful fights for themselves, but as I brought that conversation on, another player was sent back into the lobby. So Caster's curse coming in right there. Sad, maybe. Who knows? But right here, move that conversation towards Futurestation. They are looking dominating as they make their way into the zone. They are bringing in kills. They are bringing in points for themselves. And right here, when you talk about Total Esports, this is another team who was at the receiving end from the side of God's Reborn, but they were also a team who did, I think, bring in a little bit of early damage towards Godless as well. And that is going to be Zeus Esports. But for now, Zeus probably has all 4 members alive. We haven't really seen much from Zeus Esports till now.
We haven't really been seeing much though. Yeah, Zeus Esports kind of, maybe they're just not really able to find themselves the kill they were looking for. Mom2, one of the best player from Portal Esports, AFK. We don't like to see such kind of unfortunate moments. And Mom2 though, his health is taken away as time on the clock ticks away as well. The zone is of course dealing out quite a lot of damage. He should be back in the game anytime soon. But if it's too late, of course, he would be losing his health. Take a look at that drastic circle shift all the way far away from the lads of R3D. And this is what I was exactly saying. If you're going to be making those late game rotations, you will have to stay on the edges. And sometimes staying on the edges, if the circle moves away from you, then you have a long way to cover.
A long walk, mate. That's a long walk, you know. I mean, it's 50 degrees out there, and it's just getting absolutely crazy because you are in the game to get some points, to get some kills, but by the time you reach the zone has already moved away. And as R3D tries to get into the zone again, they cannot make a straight run for it. They are going to move in towards a flank approach, sort of an entry into the zone itself to keep themselves safe. And once again, I mean, when it comes to the points, don't know how many they're going to be able to walk away with. But Futurestation, we were looking at them bringing themselves into the zone as well. And right here, we did see, it seemed like one of the players was knocked as they get themselves in the zone. But move the conversation towards DRS, Mr. Boro right here, looking really good with all of his loot and everything set. And now it's time to jump into some action. talking about action, APES is jumping into some action as well as they bring down Voltrux from the side of Team QWERTY.
7C now to rule off. Early casualty in this squad. Trying their best to get the rest back in onto him, though. Of course, not going to be any attacks to rule off. Kind of out in the open. The smoke is there to provide any kind of visual distortion. And that's an incredible spray from the enemy line. 7C. This doesn't seem like they're going to be missing a bullet. That's an absolute laser beam of a spray from these lads. DRS inside the game. Mr. Bora, of course, was taken down. And now the rest will be there without any trouble. And it seems like he's just trying to bust out the vehicle tires. And making sure if there's any team stuck in the blue zone, they're not going to be having a free vehicle for themselves.
That is true, mate. And right here, this is how APES was able to get a mark on Team QWERTY, because they are on top of the hill situation. No matter how good an ideal one can be, but if another team has that position on top of the hill, it is going to be one of those situations that you don't really have a lot of options to walk out of those tricky situations, and that's where APES are converting those kills and those points for themselves. On the other end, we also did see PES in the kill feed another time bringing in some domination towards the side of Zeus Esports, and it is Futurestation right now that we have. Well, finally, they have made a rotation in towards the compound, but the zone is not going to allow them to stick around for long. And on the other side, as they try and get out of there, it is going to be DRS that is waiting for them to peek and showcase their skulls and heads.
Showcase their skulls and heads. But now DRS, again, have their sights locked on the players of 7C. And this is where a massive battleground will be found, or will be formed. And I want to see how these teams actually, in the end, fight each other out, because Zeus is still alive, good looking. I most probably have all their players alive, still inside the game, including DRS, some best of the best teams, including 7C as well. And in the end, it's just going to be a hell-breaking loose, an absolute battleground. And this is why it's called Player Unknown's Battleground.
Boy, oh boy, Zeus Esports not having the time of their life in this game. They seem to have been caught off guard every single rotation that they've made. Till now, we have not seen them on our screens, but they are... Wow! This is just perfect curry being created for APES right here, where they have in their crosses 2 individual teams. All 4 players, one after the other, lining themselves up for APES Hustler to bring those points for him. He's been able to get a lot of those knocks, but finally he was able to get that kill as well, because last time we tuned into APES, they were looking at 2 defeats. Now also they were looking at 2 defeats, and right in front of our screens has been converted into 3. But QWERTY Esports, they know that there's a team up north above their position, but they still know that they reached this compound for a reason, and that was to dominate whoever's in there. But it is Mom2, it is PES on the receiving end. They are out in the open. They don't have a lot working for them apart from those smokes. They do have grenades coming in from the side of Team QWERTY and lead being fired upon from the side of APES up north. And this is going to be a troublesome situation for QWERTY Esports. They have been looking really good when it came down to that kill feed, especially against Zeus Esports. But now, will they be able to walk out of this situation? It is looking tricky. Another question is going to be, will Team QWERTY, even if they get these kills, be allowed to get out of that compound? Because APES is still sticking around. Wow.
APES is just raining down death and destruction on all these players who are right below them. And that's going to be Portal Esports out the game. A massive elimination from their side. APES seems like they are not going to be stopped anytime soon. They're the Kongs of the game. And again, APES with the high ground. As I did mention, they're not going to let F4 or QWERTY out that little compound anytime soon. They're just pinned inside Khan, Destroyer, and Wolverine. All 3 players inside there. Take a look at how Sucher has positioned himself as well, all the way on the right lines in the flank line as well, and I'm pretty sure he hasn't fired a single bullet up till now. His position is, of course, more kind of like an anonymous factor in the game.
Exactly, mate. Because again, I mean, Censure and the lads from Apes. I mean, look at White as well, right? 3 lads are sticking their crosshairs towards the side of Team QWERTY is what we can see from the map. And White on the other tangent is going to be looking on to, if at all there's any other team that is going to be approaching Apes' position. For now, there's none whatsoever at all. But bring that conversation towards what's happening on the other side of the game altogether, on the map altogether. It is PN Crew, and seemed like High Voltage that they were trying to take a fight against, but High Voltage was not allowed to enter the circle, and now doing so, it is PN Crew. Will they seriously be pushing on alongside this? There have been so many points just walking into the crosshairs of Apes, and right here, if Censure is looking down towards this mountain region, he should know that PN Crew or some team is peeking that corner as well.
I'm absolutely loving the odds of the circle shift as well. Take a look at that. Half of the circle is on the hill, half of the circle is in Picado. And this is what is going to be an interesting and surprising factor. Is it going to be shifting inside the city, or most probably it's going to be shifting out in the open? I mean, most of the players are, of course, going to be heading towards the city area because it would give you the maximum amount of cover. Whoa. And overexposing his body a little too much, trying to use that utility. And sometimes we have seen in the past as well, you do get punished just like that. DRS crumbling down one by one, but no is going to be the answer. Boro is still there in the backlash to provide that essential cover fire. And that's an incredible squad wipe, a fabulous play from the side of DRS. But again, Futurestation 1952 tried their best to hold on.
Well, I mean, yeah, that is perfect positioning and placement coming in from the side of the real soldiers, but it was certainly an ouch moment as well for the side of Futurestation, as they seemed confident. They were looking real good as they slowly, steadily moved on along into the game, but as they tried to put themselves down, as they hunkered down into that compound, they were sadly not allowed to do so. And right here in the open, we've got fights being taken out, and it is PN that is at the receiving end thanks to 7C through Love. And True Love has gotten those kills for himself. Now, Apes. Yep, Apes certainly has the information. No question about it. The smoke right there is a clear giveaway to Apes that, hey, there's some team out there. And that is what Apes should be able to convert into so many kills. I mean, again and again, Apes are looking so comfortable when it comes to the circle. The circle is still favoring them. As you were mentioning, there's a little bit of that hill area as well. And there's whoa. Team QWERTY was able to walk out of that compound, and Apes allowed them to do so. And not only that, now Team QWERTY is responding and retaliating against them. Boy, oh boy.
Team QWERTY is definitely retaliating back in style, but they're also causing a lot of rumpus, which is awakening the players of 7C as well, which are riding their front lines. And this is where Team QWERTY is getting sandwiched. From the back lines is Apes, and from the front lines is 7C. But what an incredible shot coming in from that Moses, catching his head off guard, and that's going to be 7C's player going down by Hustler. It doesn't seem like his bolt action shots are going to be missing anytime soon. Kanik as well, kind of down to low HP. Kanik realizes the heat of the situation, playing it out safe as possible. Going to be healing first and then prioritizing for those kills. But take a look at 7C just farming the entire squad of Team QWERTY.
Oh, they were good. They were real good. I mean, talk about Khan, the way he was able to get that team out of that compound and get themselves into that small little ridge with the cover of the 2 vehicles that were blown. It could have worked in their favor, but again, 7C knew they had the information and were able to bring in some perfectly controlled sprays to convert those into points for themselves. Now, the real soldiers, they're also in the fight. They are taking it a slow snail's approach for the moment. They're trying to get all the information. They can, of course, hear a lot of lead being dished out throughout the entire surrounding that they're in, but the same can be said for Vibe as well. What is Vibe up to? There is a 3-man squad right here, and the warehouse is, well, interesting that they've positioned themselves right here, because there's a lot of openings that DRS, if they wanted, could push in through. Oh no, my apologies, sure. Apes could push in through.
Now again, pretty going on, but no, it's going to be the answer, because DRS, the incredible precision from these lads is just an absolute another level. 7C paying the price for it. Getting caught off guard in their crosshairs is, of course, not one of the best things you can wish for. But now, Apes kind of spotting out the players. Kanik getting caught off guard in the open grounds. Boro is just an absolute laser beam. He's an unstoppable mean machine. as he just bodies down each and every single player that is going to be standing right in his front lines. And it doesn't seem like DRS have any clue that 7C has finally been wiped out the game. So they're still trying to lob in those nades, maybe thinking that 7C is still in the game and they can find themselves an easy kill. But APES already down to a 2-man squad. Things are not looking good for them. White and Sancher are going to be the last 2 men alive. And what are these guys going to be able to put up on the table? Only time would tell, because Vibes is still alive and DRS is still alive. And if these 2 massive teams fight against each other, then maybe APES have a chance to find the right moment.
Absolutely. We are looking at DRS trying to push on alongside this perfect warehouse that Vibe is in. APES has been finally bring themselves down from that hill and have gotten themselves spread across in these 2 back-end houses, not houses, sorry, warehouses once again, where Vibe is positioned for the moment. But Vibe is a 3-man squad. Malik, Jiggle are trying to bring in a few of those nades towards the side of APES, but in doing so, 2-man working towards just the south of this position. That leaves Vibes 1-man that is going to be working towards the front of the position. And in all of that, DRS, our 4-man squad, is going to get themselves placed in the circle comfortably.
Look at the circle shift. It's in the no man's land. Only 1 player from DRS is making it inside the circle. Barely, though. Still barely. APES have a long way to cover. Nima getting spotted out. Now seems like he's going to be dropping back, though. But the circle is out in the open. It's in no man's land. And all these teams will need to make it inside the circle. But how is going to be the massive question? APES, a long way to cover. Malik is kind of holding them off. He's not going to let them go that easily. He does spot White's gun out. That nade, if it's perfectly cooked, of course, it might be enough. But White already reads the play in like a book and just gets inside that little vehicle. He's getting that vehicle ready. He knows he needs to leave in a maximum speed, and this is why he's getting the vehicle ready as well. Of course, we do know that Bus does have a capacity to take a lot of bullets, take a lot of bullets into it, and it's an absolute tanker.
Oh no! Do you see Mr. Boro right there from DRS as well as AJ? They are ready. They are ready from this flank. As soon as somebody enters or tries to enter the circle, they are not going to allow. But along with that, it is Vibe that had their crosshairs set towards the players of APES. And of course, they are the ones who want these kills. They're not going to let them get away that easy. DRS might hold on to that position that they've got in the circle for quite some time. Because when it comes to the points, it is looking like Vibe is going to be taking them.
The bullets whisk past through quite close, and now Sancher does know he's pretty much done for him. And now Wipes, all the pressure is on these 2 lads, on these 3 lads, Praveen, Jiggle, and Malik. How are they going to be making it inside the circle? Barely, still alive and good looking. Still barely alive, making it inside the circle. But how far is going to be the question, because DRS has the most control, or the most of the zone control for themselves. The massive amount of land is being covered by the lads of DRS. And now Vibes will need to retake it from them. And certainly it's not going to be that easy, because DRS seems like they are ready for a war.
They most certainly are. I mean, we were just talking about it. I was bringing that point up, that when it comes down to Season 1's play on the map of Miramar, it was DRS that was taking some wonderful points for themselves with those kills. This time around as well, we see them in Season 2 also, bringing in 8 defeats already for themselves. We are 27 minutes into the game. This is going to be the final circle. Another 25 seconds. 9th circle being brought on along. Vibe needs to get out of here. How exactly will they be doing so? DRS preparing themselves. DRS certainly is preparing themselves with those smokes that are being set up. Mr. Boroboro has a perfect placement, but dude, this is going to be difficult. As soon as Jiggle steps out, yep, the damage, dude, the damage coming in from that is going to be too much.
It's like a smoked up arena. It's like a smoked up arena being created from these lads, and this is going to be an interesting fight inside the smoke. The smokes are being spread in all across the sides. DRS still thinks that they're inside that little stadium, but now should have realized that they moved out, because the zone has eaten pretty much most of that. But now that 1 nade is going to be taking 2 players down. Mafia Ninja with an incredible precision from that utility. I've been mentioning this since a long time. DRS have one of the best precision when it comes to utilities, and again, DRS coming out on top in that game.
Perfect play coming in from Mafia Ninja and the lads of DRS. Of course, the real soldiers stepping up. Mr. Boro Boro, I mean, we saw him bring in some perfect flank angles for himself. Team Vibe, once again, another team to talk about, because you talk about consistency. This team is showcasing that, especially when it comes to Season 2 of the Pro Scrims. But eventually, talk about the other teams. Where is Venom Legend, mate? How is Astra Academy falling behind? Futurestation slowly looking good. They are certainly looking good. But again, I mean, there's a lot of expectation. And along with all of this, the biggest point. Where is UC Sports, Necro?
Zeus all the way down to 13th position. Well, seems like today wasn't really their day, you know? Fell down, crumbled apart quite early. Or what exactly happened with Zeus? I mean, we didn't even see them around. We didn't even have them in our line of sight.
Exactly. I mean, the only point of time that I was able to see Zeus was at the receiving end coming in from PUBG Esports. And that was, again, not only once, but a couple of times that I noticed that, which always seemed like, wait, how? Firstly. And then secondly, can we please see it? Can we please observe or see what is happening? But I mean, I guess there was no point to showcasing it, because after all, I think they walked away with what? 1 kill? Zeus Esports had that 1 kill, right?
Yeah. Only 1 kill on their name.
Wow. So again, you never know what's going to go down when it comes to these pro scrims, because yes, you might start off looking at day number 1. That might go on towards one region's awesomeness, but you move on to day number 2, a completely different annihilating play is what we're seeing, and the real soldiers stepping up as they should.
Exactly. The real soldiers proving themselves that they are the real soldiers of the battleground. And again, in the end, that smoke arena was being created, and that was just an absolute beauty to witness. It was just smokes all over the place. Let's take a look at the match rankings of Game 5 as DRS got themselves 15 points, 11 kills, and 26 total points. APES not really far away with 10 points for themselves, 8 kills on the board with 18 points, but Wipes only managed to secure 3 kills that game, which is of course an unfortunate turn of events. Then Team QWERTY not really far behind as well on the 5th position. Then we have 7C. Team QWERTY did pretty well this game. If they keep on doing pretty good, or at least aim for a chicken dinner maybe in the future times, then that would help them out quite a lot.
Absolutely. I mean, this time around, the way Team QWERTY played definitely is commendable. When it comes to high voltage's play, definitely on point coming in. The aggression coming in from the side of Assassin and his lads. But move that conversation towards the second half is where we are looking at PUBG Esports with 3 kills for themselves. Astra Academy with only that 1. Zeus Esports again only with that 1 kill. Venom Legends not being able to showcase the prowess that they need to, but it is okay. It is going to take some time. It is, after all, scrims that they are allowed to experiment with.
Exactly. Scrims are meant for experimentation, and the main focus for all these teams is, of course, going to be that money. That prize pool, first place is, of course, going to be getting $1,000, and then the rest is just going to be descending down, because scrims don't really have a point of proof. They don't really have a massive statement as well. So scrims mostly is meant for the money, and mostly is meant for experimentation for your team. So, you know, just hating on your favorite teams just because they're not doing good in the scrims doesn't really make sense. All that matter is how they do and how they perform in the upcoming regional finals. If they're going to be doing good on the bigger stages, then maybe they do deserve the love from you guys.
Absolutely, mate. With that, talk about consistent play coming in from the side of Vibes Esports has resulted at the end of their Day 2 saga with 59 points for themselves. They have played all the 4 games that they were supposed to for today. That implied that this is going to be their final score. Now, of course, there's one more game remaining that we do know. That's going to be match number 6, where we could very well see the other teams genuinely pick up and, bring Wipe down. But still, that consistency is working in that team's favor. Talk about train to kill, though. They seem to be lacking a lot.
Lacking quite a lot here and there, trying to kill. Well, today isn't really their day. Maybe things are not working around as they have expected. But they still have one more game to play, Blotter. And this is where they might be proving a lot of things.
Yep, exactly, mate. That is going to be the case. I so very much hope so. On the other tangent, when you talk about high voltage, yep, they have finally started showcasing some wonderful turnover wins for themselves. Same can be said for Team 7C Esports, as well as, of course, boy, oh boy, I mean, Apes as well right there was. But move that conversation towards the bottom of this leaderboard. Now, Stalwart certainly has this one final game. They may be might be able to come online, maybe might be able to showcase some prowess, maybe might be able to move into the top 5, top 3. Let's see. Same for so many of these teams.
Exactly. Stalwart Esports. Well, what really went wrong there? Stalwart, I mean, one of the best teams inside the Pakistan region. You know,
True.
one of the best teams inside the Pakistan region, has one of the best lineup, has 2 of the best player reviews, 3 of the best players reviews, Crypto, Johnny on your backpack. Things should be easier for your side at least.
It should be, but somehow that's not turning out to be the case. Or again, that is something that you've discussed as well, where these teams do end up, not showcasing their best strategies and best plays when it comes to the scrims as well. Could be the case. Very well. All good, all sorted. It is all perfect. But after all, with that, we've got 5 games done. We still have 1 more game remaining. But before we jump into that, we're going to go on a very, very short break. Stick around. We're going to be right back.
Players may encounter Titans during a match, just like in the movies. Let's learn more about the all-new game modes, shall we? Titan Strikes. The Titan Strikes mode introduces 3 Titans to Erangel, Sandhook, and Livid. Godzilla and Kong move along designated routes across the map. Players can chase after them in vehicles, but if you get too close, you'll be knocked down and take damage. When Titans get ready to unleash a heat ray, the system will prompt players to leave the red zone marked on the minimap. Players equipped with high-level armor receive reduced damage from the heat ray. Titans will absorb energy which emanates gradually from the earth. Once the energy reaches a certain threshold, Titans release it and create Titan crystals around them. Different types of Titan crystals provide different effects. Erangel's blue Titan crystals are special throwable items that players can equip. They knock back and burn enemies who are behind cover. Sandhook's gold Titan crystals enhance players' abilities, making you run faster and jump higher. Livik's red Titan crystals give players the ability to detect enemies nearby for a brief period of time. These enhancement items give players an edge in battle. Use them and bring the chicken dinner home. With the help of Titan crystals, players have even more unique tactics to achieve victory. Godzilla and Kong roam Erangel and Sandhook respectively, and players may bump into them on Spawn Island. Players can preview the Titan's route on the minimap, along with Apex Cybernetics, and low, mid, and high-level monster settlements. Apex Cybernetics are scattered along the Titan's route, which contains many valuable supplies. However, players can only enter the facility after a Titan has destroyed the base. Players that arrive early will not be able to get into the highly fortified Apex camp. At the same time, defeating different monster settlements rewards good supplies. Monster settlements are mainly occupied by lizards and crabs. Players can use a diversion to divide and conquer. The monsters are big, so using a shotgun at close range can deal huge damage. Players must also be wary of the Titan's attacks. Although they're not hostile towards players, they get irritated when there's too many players around. The Titan on Livik has unique electromagnetic abilities that affect the blue zone and cause it to shift every once in a while. Now, players must pay constant attention to the new plays and transfer immediately when they begin to shrink, as to ensure they're not swallowed by the blue zone. Furthermore, Mechagodzilla periodically scans an area of the safe zone and marks the locations of everyone in the area on the minimap. This urges players to transfer or engage their enemies. Players must be extra careful. The Titan Strikes game mode is based on Battle Royale. Players must strive to be the last one standing amidst battling other players and Titans. With the addition of Titans, players are ready to witness their majesty and get their hands on the mysterious Titan crystals. Enjoy the all-new Titan Strikes and experience the earth-shattering might of the Titans.
Hello and welcome to PUBG Mobile South Asia Pro Scrims Season 2 by Norman Gaming. We are on day number 2. Things are off to an interesting start for day number 2. We were yesterday talking about how Mongolian teams dominated, but today it is looking like a different turn of events indeed, and in that doing so, now Necro, we've got match number 6, the final game of the day. What do you think is going to go down now, mate? I mean, anybody's guess, I think.
Oh, man. Things are looking pretty tough, not gonna lie. Things are looking pretty tough. And as I'm thinking about this, my throat is also getting pretty dry, I'm not gonna lie. So, you know, to be honest, I would say Team Vibes this time. I would say Team Vibes will maybe take this one because they desperately need it. I mean, consistent placement is there. Consistent placement is there without any doubt.
True.
But I feel like somewhere down the line, lacking in the chicken dinners.
True, mate. I mean, yeah, we do know that Team Vibe was able to get that perfect, consistent play working for them and were able to, you know, get their games done for the day with all 4 games done on the top of the leaderboard. So looking pretty comfortable there. But as the games move on along, this is, again, an opportunity, I believe, for Team QWERTY. High Voltage perhaps as well, because High Voltage now finally showcasing a bit more of a play that they want to be able to dominate. They want to be able to, you know, bring in those kills for themselves the way we saw them last game, you know, push alongside the side of course, Momto, and they won those points, simply put. And slowly, hopefully, they will be able to get that working in their favor until unless Zeus Esports decides to come online and is like, you know, we've had a bad start to the day. We're not going to be ending on the same note.
Well, I mean,
Zeus
is always a fear, you know. Even in the caster's mind,
Yep.
Zeus is always the fear, and we are actually scared for a lot of teams, you know, that are on the, you know, they haven't really faced like the best teams, you know. And if you're gonna be facing directly against Zeus, imagine if you're just walking around having a great time with your friends, you know, in a car, making the rotation towards, and you just collide against a squad like Zeus, and you just get absolutely wiped out in 2 seconds, and you're like, what just happened?
Exactly. That is what goes through your, it's like a flashback. Wait, did that seriously just happen? Because again, you can talk about R3D's play yesterday, right? As they tried to take on Stalwart Esports. You can talk about, I mean, never mind, you know, pointing down teams, because pointing down teams is one thing, but expecting is completely a different ball game altogether, because expectations can lead us to a completely different 8-ball situation. And in that 8-ball situation, the first and foremost team I would want to talk about is going to be this team, Team T2K. Season 1 of these pro scrims, this team on the map of Miramar were looking really comfortable, really comfortable, right? But this time around, not so good. When it comes to Season 2 overall, actually, the performance seems to be shattered.
Without a doubt, the performance level has dropped. I mean, TDK always love to go towards the Los Leones areas, including A1 Esports joining them as well. 3 teams in the same area, locking hard since the PMP of days, and still they haven't fought against each other. Well, I mean, it actually does amaze me sometimes. Like, how can 3 teams in a single city be so peaceful? I mean, Los Leones, again, is a massive city, so sometimes it does make sense, but still, I expect them to fight against each other.
Most certainly, dude. I mean, that should be the case. That should be what should take place. But eventually, the team seems to have found their own sweet spots when it comes to this entire city, right? When it comes to the entire area. And they know where and what building and what room to go for when it comes to that perfect looting opportunity. On the other tangent, when you talk about DRS, wow, that map had a really fanned out approach coming in from DRS. Completely south, the entire team, but they were so far off within themselves. It is interesting what DRS is planning for this game.
Exactly. I mean, what DRS has been doing since the previous game as well, of course, has been interesting since a longer time. But now High Voltage kind of want to move early off, and it does make sense. I mean, they have seen it from the worst, and they have learned their lessons as well. I mean, High Voltage aren't really having a great time in the game. but instead decided to move inside the circle and then start looting, which is pretty good thing. Now you have a lot of time to loot because you don't really have to worry about the blue zone. All you can do is just straight up start looting without any trouble.
Absolutely, but we do see a little bit of a rivalry being created over there as well, because TUF once again is going to be on top of them from the looks of it, right? On the other tangent, it is Astra Academy. That last game were not able to, well, bring in decent plays. But here we go. We've got an early kill being confirmed from the side of Astra Academy as well as the receiving team, because as you see, action has been sent back into the lobby from Astra.
Well, there we go. Edgar kind of closing out the distance on the players of High Voltage. QWERTY in the clotheslines. The rest of the team is there to provide that extra backup. And Aussie as well, spotting out Edgar. Edgar's taking a lot of damage, but doesn't matter. He's just way above in the strategical side. And QWERTY has been taken down by the lads of TUF. Unfortunate stuff. Aussie, though, kind of making a questionable move out in the open, and of course he will be punished for such kind of rookie mistakes. Aussie should have hold on his horses inside that little barn house, and then maybe he could have been safe.
Exactly, mate. But right now, again, when you talk about High Voltage, the way they approached this compound was to be able to, you know, get themselves a decent amount of loot. But talk about a decent amount of loot, that is what this team was not able to walk away with. All the members at the receiving end were not looking comfortable when it came down to their loot. On the other side, TUF had been pretty close to this compound for quite some time. They had their loot separate and segregated amongst themselves as well. But now we see 2 points of cost being given away from High Voltage in terms of kills towards TUF. But High Voltage Assassin is not going to back out. We've got Assassin and Extreme, the two lads who are alive and are going to be trying to maybe take a fight, or just hopefully not take a fight right now, because Snail's approach would probably be the best approach for them.
Yep, it doesn't seem like it's going to be back out anytime soon. TUF, though, well, making an approach, taking an absolute different approach in the fight, using the same vehicle that High Voltage used.
Yep.
And now straight up ramming their vehicle inside the compound. Extreme, though, has an anonymous angle inside this game. His position might be a surprising factor as well that might surprise the players of TUF. And this is where, if any kind of rookie mistakes, if any kind of bodies are exposed, Assassin was almost burned down to a crisp. But he managed to jump down, and that's how the players of TUF got themselves the kill that they were looking for. Extreme guy managed to take one player down, almost taking the second one down as well, but not really finding the luck. And I really like the Molotov he used to flush out that player out of that door.
Perfect play coming in from the lads of TUF indeed. On the other tangent, it was High Voltage at the receiving end. They were still able to get one kill confirmed, and that's going to be A-okay, so 1 point converted in that entire saga. But eventually, we move that conversation towards another team that we saw, you know, rush down their opponent. It was Astra Academy and Deadeyes who were in a bit of a skirmish. It seems like Astra Academy is on top. They've been able to get a few more knocks from the side of Deadeyes. Let's see how that fight is going to pan out, if at all it will, or the teams are going to back out of that situation. But right here, this is something that we do see happen at times, but certainly do not want to see, right? Because again, you do not want to have all three members, the only three members, by the way, of the team be in just that one car, in that one vehicle.
But now, the change is there as well from the side of 9boy, 6ix9ine boy. And as you were talking about, you know, some teams are just coming in inside the lobby with 3-man squad. Same thing goes with A1 Esports as well. Down to a 3-man squad. Don't really know why the fourth player had a tough time joining. Sinister is not inside the game, and that's a massive casualty.
Absolutely, and now they're going to be setting their garage up and going to be hopefully, well, getting themselves set up for this compound and just getting it comfortably set for themselves. Move the conversation towards XP Blood Legion. They've got a massive playing field right here to loot through, to go through. So many of these different houses that they can get themselves the best of the best loot and then move slowly and steadily towards a fighting chance. Because again, this team, when it comes to the points, is lacking for sure, but perhaps they have a different approach when it comes to these scrims. For now, we see well, R3 was moving up onto the hill. Seems like he was going to be creating a flank angle. They're probably going to be hunkering down into that compound area that they're in.
That's for sure. But now A1 Esports, again, they might as well open a car dealership inside this little house. Well, I mean,
Yep.
they do have 2 vehicles on their name. Maybe they would just start selling it to the players that are in the need. But A1 Esports are on the move early off this time. They do realize that from the previous games that they have played, moving inside the circle early off in the early phases is going to be the best route you can take for yourself. And this is what they're doing, opting out for a early rotation inside the circle is the best bet.
Absolutely, and in that we also have Futurestation right here, who seem to be getting themselves comfortably set up within the circle for the moment. We've got C-Wine with a Mini trying to get as much information as he possibly can. There's absolutely no information for him to relay for the moment because the teams are segregated as of now. We also, as this game started, had only 15 teams, I believe, that were part of the lobby, and now that's been brought down to 13 teams. 8 minutes in, still waiting for the second zone to kick in. Now, this is more of a Miramar game, you know? This is what Miramar games are like. You know that teams take it slow and steady when it comes to the initial 10 to 15 minutes, and wow, a VSS being utilized right here from Tofik.
Well, I mean, it's been quite a long time. I've seen this bad boy being used in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the weapon of silent assassins, as I like to call it, and VSS. I mean, sometimes it has its moments, and sometimes it can actually cost you quite a lot as well. Sometimes it doesn't really work out in your favor. Just depends on what kind of fights you're challenging with that gun. But now the circle, again, an interesting circle. Maybe it's going to be a Los Leonas circle. I mean, Los Leonas circle does cause quite a lot of havoc, and I do like to see that circle a lot of times.
Absolutely, mate. I mean, when you talk about the apartments in that region, right, that's where things go real crazy, real quick, real swift, and that is what we might be able to see. But then again, when it comes to the teams as of now, right, we are looking at A1 Spiso. We were rather looking at A1 Esports that seemed to be making their way into the center of the city, and that is where Zeus Esports is waiting. That is going to be critical to keep in mind that Zeus Esports is in the center of the zone.
Zeus is always going to be the demon hunter because they are the gods and they want to take out the evil from the game. I mean, this is what they personally think, so pretty sure. Futurestation 1952. Again, this team previously was called 1952, but now seems like they have been signed in by the lads of Futurestation. So now they are Futurestation 1952. C-Vine, though, kind of a latest addition inside the squad. I mean, previously, I feel like he was playing in the squad of Eccentric, and now he is playing for the lads of 1952. C-Vine, of course, is one of the best players they have to offer as well. And A1 Esports already down to a 2-man squad, but the rest should be there without any trouble.
Exactly, but as that res comes in, I do want to be able to see whoever took that shot. Whoever took that shot, they will then have the information for the second person who's coming in for the res. Now that second person could very well go down, thus resulting in A1 Esports with only a 1-man army. Let's see how it pans out. But right here, of course, we're looking at DRS taking some shots towards that. I don't know what team that is. Actually, it is a T2K. Yes, it is T2K. Right. So T2K rated sir is what it was. They were not able to get that led into any of the T2K rated sir's utility, but I'm sure the car was certainly damaged. Along with that, A1 Esports certainly have been able to revive that third lad. A 3-man squad is what they've got looking pretty strong for the moment, but DRS Mafia Ninja right here, who was the one who has taken those shots, has got the information for T2K. Now T2K, how exactly are they going to be taking this fight? Because they are, well, the only cover that they've got is, of course, that smoke and a little bit of that crevice, but for how long is that going to work?
Didn't realize TDK, so we did mention today, isn't really their day. So maybe they're trying to play it out as safe as possible. It doesn't seem like they're challenging any kind of fights in the early games. But Sealed Out already kind of crumbling down on their knees. One player has been taken down. It's going to be Wally. But Moona69 with that beautiful nade is going to be retaliating back in style. He needs to make sure his head is safe though, because there's one more player from the side of God Reborn that wants to take him out the game, and yes, he will.
Wow.
A little glimpse is going to be enough, and Moona69 is already out the game.
Dude, that was perfect. That was absolute perfect, sad, mad approach coming in from God's Reborn's lad. And that was crucial. That was genuinely crucial for him to be able to bring in that destruction. Of course, God's Reborn was the team that initially got a knock towards the side of CL Esports. But now it seems like they are the ones retaliating against the push from CL Esports. And hopefully they'll be able to hold their stead. No, not yet, because the fight is not yet done, and Baron right here with no damage to him whatsoever at all is still standing strong and brings down the entire team. Wow, and look at that, look at his utility, no damage whatsoever at all, mate.
Baron, man, I do know Baron is just an absolute incredible player in the squad of Seal, and that was then a flawless squad wipeout. And God's Reborn are definitely not going to be happy after that one. I'm pretty sure they're going to be slamming their heads across the walls after losing a fight like that. They had the fight. They did flip the tables in their favor, but then again somehow managed to screw it all over. And Baron, a one-man army, just took out the rest of the players and just sweep them away. But Zeus, my eyes are locked in on this team. How are they going to be playing inside this game? You know, we're seeing kind of a different approach being taken from these lads. Inside this entire pro scrims, they're playing out so safe. This is not how they were playing in the PMPL.
That is so very true. It is definitely a complete different shift that we're looking at in terms of the gameplay being brought on from the side of Zeus Esports. But that again is a day-to-day affair when it comes to Zeus Esports. Some days they just feel like they want to be able to showcase what their worth is, and at days they just like, you know what, it's chill. We'll just chill around a bit. But today seems like they are here to prove their mark. It is Icy who seems to have been knocked from the side of Zeus Esports, but Godless has a lot of information that he's trying to get for XP Blood Legion. They know is in that compound, or rather they know that there is one team in that compound, and they do not want to be able to get that team out of their crosshairs. So Godless is going to be taking a look at that south end. We've got on the other side, Icy, I believe, will be certainly be given a revive, and the other lads are going to be looking on. So again, a 360 approach. Uh-oh.
Oh, well, that's quite bold approach from these lads. But now Zeus, well, I mean, sometimes, you know, if you're going to be changing your strategy pretty drastically, it does affect the player's mindset quite a lot, because they're not used to playing, you know, such kind of passive strategies. And if you're going to be changing it out of nowhere, then of course sometimes players are not really comfortable playing in those kind of play styles. And I feel like this is what is exactly happening with Zeus. Now they're playing out so safe and passive, is that it's like we are seeing a complete different Zeus. Godless taking a little bit of damage from here and there. Bullets are whizzing past right next to him. Dominic spotting out the players of Skylightz Gaming. ASL is right there as well. And now Heaven X is on the right lines. He needs to make sure being as safe as possible is the key in such kind of a sandwich situation.
Well, along with which we've got only 20 seconds as this zone is going to be coming and gunning for all these three teams. And Zeus certainly does realize that they are probably going to be trying to get themselves out of this scenario. So is XP Blood Legion, but what team is going to be able to get out of there first? Because there will certainly be one or two lads who will stick around and will want to try and get a few knocks before they get themselves safely in the zone. Right now, it is the first Joker from Skylightz Gaming that we're looking at, with the smokes being created, a smoke barrage that is going to help him be able to get away and out into the circle as XP make that rotation. Perfect play from their side, where TUF has been brought down, but
here we go. Here we go, Zeus. The high school bullies are back in action, and the nade barrage is not going to be stopping anytime soon. Blood Legion have smelt the fear. Blood Legion has smelt the presence of Zeus, but what is that spray from Dominic? Icy did not expect himself to go down that fast. All the bullets just connected right on the dome. And this is how Zeus learned their lesson. They're getting slapped apart right now. Zeus needs to make sure they're being as safe as possible. at least for now, because these fights are not really working in their favor.
Well, IC certainly was the one who was at the receiving end from the side of Godless, from the side of course, XP Blood Legion's Gyro right here, and it is looking pretty neat for XP Blood Legion. Held their ground, were able to make a rotation, and not only that, but were able to dish out so much damage towards the other teams that were in front of them. Just beautiful play. And right here we move on along towards the side of A1 Esports 3-man squad and DRS. AJ and Mr. Boro Boro, who are trying to take on this fight, but how exactly are 6ix9ine Boy and Jackson Dante from A1 going to be retaliating? They have a lot of information from the side of DRS and their approach. So even though it's a 4v3 situation, this could go either way actually.
This could go either way. Dante has the nade cooked in. Gonna be lobbing in their direction as DRS have managed to get themselves that one compound secured. Nade didn't really find its mark. Gonna be misplacing the nade. 6ix9ine Boy took a lot of damage. Backed off in that situation. Gonna be healing himself, which does make sense. But now A1 Esports kind of getting pinned down by the entire squad of DRS, which they are separated out. Mafia Ninja's position is quite interesting. He's on the hilltop, has created a massive flank angle for himself.
Absolutely, and as we look on towards this fight, the previous one that we were looking at where TUF is at the receiving end from the side of XP Blood Legion, seems like TUF have retaliated and resulted in XP Blood Legion being on the receiving end and have knocked down a lot of the players from XP. But move that conversation towards DRS and A1, they are still holding their ground. They are of course bringing in a lot of those knocks being dished out from the side of A1 Esports, but they are a 3-man army. So the 3-man army, what they're going to do is hold their compound, hold their fort for as long as they possibly can.
Did you see in the kill feed? Zeus just managed to knock out 2 players with 1 nade. And that's how things are not really looking in the favor of Skylightz Gaming. Skylightz Gaming as well retaliating back in style, taking down Zeal. But another fight happening, as we have been seeing this fight since a long time, more kind of like a stare down. 6ix9ine Boy was taken down. A1 Esports down to a 2-man squad. DRS realizing the heat at the moment. And they do realize now A1 Esports are panicking in this situation. They are. A 2-man squad versus a full 4-man, 2-on-4 situation. Nima deals here 2-player inside this building as well. A lot of sound cues given away from the side of A1 Esports. And this is how things might not go in their way. A little bit of nades from the window lines as well might just catch at least 1 player off guard.
Well, all 4 of them rushing on along. Dante's been brought down. Jax is going to be the next one. And it is all 4 lads still surviving, still looking well. No knocks taken from the side of DRS. And they will be walking out. Perfect.
Blink of an eye.
Absolute. Yep.
Blink of an eye and the entire squad is down. Portal Esports, again, still alive and good looking. 4 players alive, 1 player knocked out. Joker. But over here, 1952, doing quite a fabulous job staying alive. Doing quite an incredible job up till now at least. But only time will tell how future things are looking for them.
Absolutely. With the 2 points that they've been able to confirm for themselves, now is the time that they do need to be very, very careful, because the circle has pushed all the teams out in the open, and to try and create a area within the circle that you can call your own, with the defense, with the wall of the smoke, as well as perhaps the Mirado or the Bale, you know, is going to be really crucial. But keeping in mind that the Mirado has not yet been blown, it could be, well, again, we'll see. We'll actually see. Let's not predict any of those such things, because Wine is really close to that Mirado for the moment. But of course, it is working in his favor, as that is the only thing that is protecting him from that Western Hemisphere. But move that conversation towards QWERTY Esports. They are also a 4-man army. They are in the center of the zone. And the best part is that they've got this small little shack. That is not only the shack, actually, the entire house alongside it. That is working in their favor for the defense.
Exactly. I mean, Portal Esports, again, all their players like 5 teams only in the game, 14 players in total. And DRS is kind of the center of attraction, at least for now. They are out in the open. Portal Esports do realize that as well. And now 420 Boy, take a look at how he's trying to spot out each and every single team. He does know there's 1 vehicle there. That means they should be 1 more squad right behind that vehicle, which is pretty brilliant spotting.
Exactly, and he was just looking on down towards that southern angle, and that's where he's receiving a few shots from as well. But move that conversation towards DRS. They are looking pretty comfortable with the 6 kills that they've got. And right here, AJ has got the information on SharpX. It is Futurestation 1952 SharpX who will not be able to survive for long. Even though there was a bail, there was all the things that he thought that will save him. Nope, mate, that is not going to do you any good. With that, another kill confirmed for DRS Gaming. The real soldiers shining in this final fight. We've got 7 defeats for this team. Probably make that 8 as C-Wine is going to be brought back into the lobby.
Will be sent back in the lobby. Take a look at QWERTY Esports. A full rotation from these lads. Almost getting caught off guard in the open rounds, but again, on feet, trying to make it back to his teammate, trying to reunite with his teammates. Astra Academy, 2 players already knocked out, all down to that one last man surviving. DRS is the most dominating team inside this entire competition, and now it's just a one-on-one competition. Portal Esports versus DRS, which one would come out on top? Only time would tell.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is looking real good, mate. This is the kind of fight that we want to see from the side of course, well, DRS, the real soldiers. They had the previous game as well with 11 kills to themselves, and this time around, once again, they are all 4 members alive. Portal Esports also has all 4 members alive as well, but when it comes to the approach, this is not looking good because 420 is in the open. He does not have a lot of things working in his favor when it comes to the health, when it comes to the positioning, when it comes to the defensive bridges, nothing working in their favor. But on the other tangent is DRS with everything that they possibly want. They know, and they know how to get it.
I was literally biting my lip when he actually made that risky rotation all out in the open. He was getting shot from so many angles, but still managed to make it out alive. DRS must be quite disappointed because that was an easy opening. And if they found that opening, that could have been an easy push for them as well. Portal Esports, Mom2, one of the best players inside the squad of Portal Esports, without a doubt. He does know pushing against a big squad like DRS directly right against them isn't really a good choice. Maybe we should wait for the zone to close in, and then if the next zone is favoring the lads from Portal Esports, this is where the entire game might be in their hands. But if it's favoring the lads from DRS, then things might be their hand. It seems like, yes, it's favoring the lads from DRS mostly. So now Portal Esports will have to make a struggle and retaliate back and get that zone in their hands again.
Well, Mom2 and Insane certainly were able to push DRS's players off of the King of the Hill situation, but in doing so have not really gotten too much out of that, because still, when it comes to the crosshairs, the 2 players that are going to be Mafia Ninja and AJ, they have their crosshairs set to the other lads of Portal Esports. It is a 4v4 situation right here. There are a lot of smokes and nade parade being utilized from both of these players that are going to be from Portal Esports, but for how long, mates? Because we are not able to bring a lot of damage from that. I mean, again, same can be said for Mafia Ninja's approach for the spray, because this is not looking good for Portal Esports. More and more as the game progresses along, the circle is gunning for this team. Joker needs to find a way to get into the zone, but seems like there are no smokes available for the lad, and that's going to be a sad state of affair.
That's going to be a sad state of affair. From the bottom lines, though, his toes are gone now. Pretty sure Portal Esports aren't really having the time of their life. One by one, they're crumbling down like dominoes. Single-handedly, DRS is absolutely taking them down like it's nothing. They're making PES struggle right now, and this is where DRS wins the entire competition, wins this entire game fabulously, and what an incredible play. I mean, Portal Esports did try to retaliate back, did try their best to get inside the circle as well, but the majority of the circle was favoring the lads from DRS, and again, we do know what DRS is capable of doing. They have some laser beamers in their squad.
Absolutely do. With that 5th and 6th position being held by Seal Esports and Zeus Esports respectively, along with which we've got T2K chiming along on the 7th position, looking pretty comfortable. And as this list goes on along, it is going to be interesting to see where and how a few of these teams that we had been talking about are going to be placed. Because again, I mean, Astra Academy, from the previous game to this game, they have brought themselves up, so that's going to be perfect. But eventually, the overall ranking is going to be a tricky affair, for so many of these teams have have still not been able to walk away with the kind of points that they need to have for themselves.
Exactly. They're still not able to walk away with the points they wanted for themselves. Zeus this time as well kind of disappointed me, not gonna lie. I mean, I had a lot of expectations from that team, but today wasn't really their day. Maybe next time. But Portal Esports, gotta give props to these lads who played really good in the end circle as well, but got kind of unlucky when it comes to the zone. And we do know, I mean, DRS is one of the best teams inside the PMPL. They were the champions, and I mean, we do expect them to win such kind of situations.
No two ways about it, mate. I mean, they are the real soldiers, and they will always bring in that dominating play as much as they possibly can. And the 2 games that we just witnessed, I mean, in total there were 3 games, of course, but the last 2 games that we just witnessed from the side of DRS and their approach has been spot on, no question about it. But in that doing so, what bigger leap are they going to be making when it comes to the overall standings? Because this team is looking comfortable for now. But along with that, another thing to talk about is going to be the top players. And Edgar from Team TUF with 7 kills, followed by Nima and AJ, who were able to get 4 kills each from this game.
Exactly, Edgar, 7 kills on this man's name. Then we go ahead to AJ with 4 kills on his name as well. And TUF, though, showing their name up this time as well in the top 5 in the previous game and doing quite an incredible job. I mean, Seal, gotta give these lads the props. I mean, the kind of mechanical aim these guys display on the board, I really feel like they need to improvise on their positioning. They need to improvise how they push these squads, and I feel like this might be a really solid squad that we are looking forward.
Most certainly, mate. That can certainly be said for so many of these teams, no question about it, from Astra Academy to CL Esports to DRS to Futurestation as well as Team TUF, to be honest. Because again, I mean, there is nothing separating them when it comes to the amount of, points that these teams have been able to walk away. Yes, there's a big difference from the first to the second, but move that conversation from the third all the way down, it is looking like, yeah, it can go either way. For example, you can talk about Train to Kill. We know that team has been able to get 11 plus kills in single games as well. Same can be said for Zeus Esports. So, boy, oh boy, it is going to be real close as we move on into the final days of our second season of Pro Scrims. But, Stalwart Flex, where are you at?
Stalwart Flex, all the way in the bottom. Unfortunate turn of events. I mean, what exactly is happening with that team? I mean, I didn't even see them. For a second on the map.
I think that's what, in the final game, since we only had 15 teams, I think Stalwart was the team that was not in the lobby for this final game, because we started off with only 15 teams, but with that, move on to the overall rank, and DRS bringing in consistent plays for the previous 2 games have resulted in them getting a 10-point lead to the second position holder. That's going to be Astra Academy with 62 points.
Well, I mean, Deadeyes is not really far behind with 60 points, only 2 points difference for the top place. Then we have Vibes as well. Then we have Zeus on the 5th position. Hopefully, in the upcoming 2 days that will be here for the scrims, I really feel like Zeus might be climbing up the leaderboards like it's nothing.
So true, so very true. Because again, I mean, when it comes to the games, we've seen 3 games on Miramar today. We saw 3 games on Erangel yesterday. And, well, we've still got Sandhawk remaining, right? So we know for a fact that tomorrow is going to be an off day for all the players. So when we do jump in along with day number 3, day after, it is going to be a new day. It is going to be a new energy being showcased into the lobby from all of these teams. And that is where things can go either way for so many of these teams.
Things can go pretty south as well. Team QWERTY, though, as well. I mean, today, unfortunate day, didn't really get their chance to prove their point. But I mean, in the upcoming games, I'm pretty sure Team QWERTY might just do, really good. They might just prove their point as well. Team QWERTY is, of course, one of the best teams from the Pakistan region, without a doubt. But now let's focus on the Bangladesh region as well. Futurestation is there. Then we have another team like Venom Legends as well. We have Blood Legion. We have Venom Esports. All these teams, I mean, Venom Esports is doing quite good with the way they're doing right now, but the rest of the teams are kind of on a struggling phase. And what exactly is happening with them is just a mystery. And only these lads, only the teams will explain it to us.
So true, mate. Because again, I mean, you talk about INES's approach, you talk about R3D's approach, you can talk about so many of these teams' approaches when it comes to those late rotations or the way they are planning the game to be is questionable, is genuinely questionable. But then again, we gotta keep in mind pro scrims, right? So pro scrims, the word itself is implying the fact that maybe these teams are just bringing these games as more of a experimentation and trying to find out where and how, based on what map, what team are they playing against, they can create those sort of strategies. And hopefully, as we move into the finals, because again, you keep on mentioning it, right? There's money on the line, Necro. There's money on the line. So
Money.
these teams that do need to, they do need to showcase a little bit more of that aggression.
Exactly. Money on the line. And for money, a lot of people are ready to do anything, and these are just scrims. So, I mean, you got to do your best, Maybe if you want that $1,000, I mean, that's a lot of money. Even if you share between your 4 members in the squad, that's still a lot of money, in each other's pockets. Maybe you can, utilize that money to whatever you want. Maybe you can buy your parents a gift. That's like the best thing you can do, your parents.
Well, indeed. Enough said. With that, we do reach the end of our day 2 of season 2 of the PUBG Mobile South Asia Pro Scrims by Nordwind Gaming. We are going to go for right now. But again, season 2 has not come to an end. We'll be back again day after with a lot more games with all these teams. So you lads sitting back at home, do not forget to tune in. Until then, sayonara. Take care.
Let's get it.